So many of you guys have requested this subreddit. I had to do it because, I wasn't gonna stop getting pestered about it. Now, this subreddit is almost all text. It's no posts, nothing for you to look at or laugh about. It's really just stories, but I didn't want to just read them because we're trying to determine whether or not somebody is an asshole. So this video is gonna be kind of different. It's gonna be more or less just a typical commentary video where we can just talk about the story. I give you my opinion, and I'll read all of yours in the comments. And I hope you guys like this type of video. It's going to be very different from the other Reddit content that I do on this channel. And if you want more of it, let me know in the comments down below. And if you don't like it, we'll never have to do it again. But I just want to see how you guys take the video, just want to see what your reaction is. So with all that being said, I hope y'all enjoy, and I'll catch you guys at the end. Alright, so this story was posted a couple weeks back, and I had it just marinating in my file folder for a really long time because it's interesting. I'm not going to tell you how I feel about it until I tell you what's actually going on. My boyfriend has always called himself a kid at heart. He collects toys from quite a different series: wrestling, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, X-Men, anime, etc. And we're in our 20s. But they aren't for collecting purposes. They're all out of the box, and he plays with them. Whenever he thinks I'm asleep, I can hear him mimicking the voices of the characters or doing commentary, and I'll peek in the room and see him actually playing with them. That's another thing. It's a small apartment, and he's got a whole room just for them, and a whole dresser full of parts and cards, their guns and weapons and such. But they're all confined to that room, none of them anywhere else. When he comes from work, it's the first thing he does. He just plays with the toys. We get packages from eBay or Amazon twice a week, but he still makes time for me. I thought it was cute and endearing at first, but we've got a baby on the way, and my friends are laughing at me. Sounds like you're dating a 12-year-old. Alright, so this is just the beginning of the story, and it already is giving me a little bit of a vibe. Now, if you guys read the title of the video, which I'm assuming you did, you understand that this girl went out of her way to throw away her entire boyfriend's toy collection, and she's trying to figure out and ask the world whether or not she's a crappy person for doing something like that. And this isn't the entire story, this is just the beginning, and I'm already catching a vibe that she's kind of ashamed that her husband is acting like a child. Now, what I will say is that, collecting stuff isn't a bad thing. I have a ton of Harry Potter memorabilia in my house, and it's just awesome, and I'm a grown person and I collect that all the time. But it's another thing when this guy goes out of his way to collect these figurines and then is actively playing with them like a child. And I will admit, that is very strange. But it seems like she's willing to throw out his stuff and try to change his life because her friends said something. I mean, would she make the same decision if her friends never mentioned that it seemed like she was dating a 12-year-old child? Let's find out. With the baby, I want to use that room for something like a nursery. I politely asked him how he'd feel about getting rid of them, but he said no. I said something about giving them to charity, but he said no again. I brought up that it could give us a lot of extra money if he sold them, but he still denied it. I asked about the baby, but he said that we'll budget it out like we always do. He'll spend less on figures, but selling his collection is out of the question. I told him that they could make some other kid, a less fortunate kid, happy. The teasing from my friends has continued. They kept telling him that he needs to grow up. Word got to his father, and according to my boyfriend, his father wouldn't let him buy anything like that after 12. But when he moved out, he could buy all the figures that he wanted. I showed his dad the pictures of his toy room, and he was shocked. He got mad and said that we were going to stop this right now, that he wanted to help me help him grow up. This morning, my boyfriend was sleeping in when his dad came over. He grabbed a big trash bag and started just grabbing handfuls and putting them inside. When he was almost done, I told my boyfriend what was going on and that this was for his own good. He ran out and saw the room was empty and his dad with 2 big trash bags leaving with them. He tried taking the bag and begging him to quit, but he didn't. His dad responded with, "It's time to grow up." And my boyfriend started crying and he sat down. Oh man, it's just getting worse and worse, huh? To begin with, your boyfriend isn't without blame here. It seems really strange that he wouldn't sacrifice a room for his child and make the bigger sacrifice of selling the toys entirely just to make sure that his child and his girlfriend or potential wife may have a good nest egg to start off with. Because, children are expensive. But what I will say is that I'm sympathetic to this guy, because I understand that he is buying these toys as a cope for his childhood. He didn't have the ability to do this when he was 12, so he now has a job and the means to buy as many figurines and toys as he wants to. And the man's grown. He's allowed to do with whatever he wants with his money. Personally, I see it as a really strange cope. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't buy toys and stuff like that and actively play with them. If they're like figurines that he's collecting, I guess I understand, but you're a parent now. It's time to be an adult and it's time to make sacrifices. And with all that being said, Your girlfriend shouldn't be your girlfriend anymore. You should move out. You should leave her, because she's awful. The girlfriend in this story, her motivations are completely misplaced. They're not to help the boyfriend in any capacity, or maybe make it easier for her child to live in the apartment. No, she's just tired of being made fun of by her friends, and finds her boyfriend's hobby to be childish. So there's no other recourse in her mind than just to get rid of the toys in general, because what is he missing? It's not like this is a cope for childhood trauma or anything. And the cherry on top of it all is that you include the one person who is the result of this entire issue. His dad, the very person that told him that he could not buy figurines or toys when he was younger, and as a result exacerbated the issue because now the kid is an adult with adult money and access to everything, and he can buy all the stuff that he wished he had when he was younger. Simply put, the dad had nothing to do with this issue, nothing to do with this conflict, and yet you brought him in, and now your boyfriend is crying and sitting on the street. And I'd love to say this is the end of the story, but no, there's more. He was on the lawn yelling about how those were all he does. Even though he had me, his dad agreed with me. You got your lady and a kid on the way. You don't need this shit. He was sobbing. His dad put them in the car and left. He said he was tossing them in the trash. I told my boyfriend I was sorry, but it had to be done, to think about the baby. But then he yelled at me about how I could throw his stuff away. He didn't actually throw them out. It was just a bluff. It was actually just donated to the thrift store. Was this truly wrong of me? Yeah, it was. You're awful. And it's not because you went out of your way to destroy the father of your son or daughter's collection that he's been building for a long time, to cope for childhood trauma. It's not really that. It's the fact that you didn't even think or care to find a compromise. Because yes, I do agree that he needs to put those figurines to the side. He needs to give that up because he has a son or a daughter on the way. He needs to be an adult. He needs to be a father. He needs to be a parent. Amateur hour is over for him. He cannot mess around having whole rooms dedicated to a collection. He can't do that anymore. But you know what you could have done instead of throwing away his prized collection, something that gave him joy after a hard work day, something that made him feel whole and full after a really terrible childhood? You want to know what you could have done? You could have just put the figurines in a cardboard box, make sure that they're all padded right, and put them in a storage unit, or toss them into a closet, because you need a bedroom for your child. That has to happen. And I'm almost certain that your boyfriend would be willing to compromise for that much, because at least they're not thrown away and they're not sold to anybody else. They're still his, they're just not in the apartment because the apartment is small. Hopefully, in maybe 5 to 10 years when we have enough money to buy a house, you can have a whole room dedicated to that. But right now, it's time to be a parent, it's time to make sacrifices, time to make compromises. Put those into a box and put it away. You didn't have to throw it away and you didn't have to include his father. You're a crappy person for that. Really terrible. But hey, you guys know my opinion. Let's see what the rest of the internet thinks. Yeah, the council has adjourned. You are the asshole. Pretty sure you're about to become a single parent. Her, soon-to-be ex, one can hope, boyfriend literally told her that his dad was an abusive asshole and she still called him. Like, yes, I get having the whole room to a hobby when you're having a baby might not make sense when you need a nursery or whatever, but the way to work at that problem isn't to call the man who created the problem by not letting his son play with toys. This is just awful. I feel so bad for him. And OP, those clearly were all that he had because you don't care about him whatsoever. Leave him alone, and by that I mean just leave him because you don't love him. Is it a little bit of an odd hobby? Yes. Is it taking too much of your space? Maybe. Depends on if they have another room that they could, make into a nursery. Baby has to go somewhere, right? But OP had no right to take all of his stuff away, no matter what the stuff was. He paid for them. He spent years building his collection, and you took it all away despite seeing how much pain you were causing. What is wrong with you, OP? This point about losing a partner/father that would have been overjoyed playing with your children cannot be upvoted enough. My heart breaks for that poor man. So there you go, a little bit of my opinion and the rest of the internet's opinion. But what do you guys think? I'm really curious. I want to know how you guys think about the story, whether or not the boyfriend is in the wrong, whether or not the girlfriend is in the wrong, whether or not the dad's in the wrong. I just want to know what you guys think. Also, please tell me what you think about this video. I'm just trying new stuff on the channel. I've been throwing out a whole lot of new content, and I seriously want to know what you guys think because I want to make as much content that's enjoyable for all of you forever. Or as long as the channel is, up on YouTube or something like that. Seriously, 2020 could be the year where, YouTube just vanishes or something like that. I don't know. I'm ready for anything at this point. What's up, everybody? It's your boy Ailurus, aka Panda Daddy, and I hope you enjoyed today's video. And if you did, let me know in the comments down below, and leave a like if you liked the video. And if you're new to my channel, go ahead and subscribe, fam. What you doing watching videos and not subscribing? And if you're old, make sure you hit that bell so you get these notifications every time. Seriously, I really hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you click that bell as well so if you can get more, updates on any new content or any old Reddit content that might be uploaded in the, near future. Maybe tomorrow, maybe this evening. I don't know. It's anything. It's all in the air at this point. But seriously, let me know what you think about this video. I want to see if I can make more of this content. I don't know. It just seems to vibe. I don't know. I liked it. So I want to know if you guys liked it. And as always, I gotta thank the Patreon supporters. So thank you to Taki, Bunny Boo, Dustin, Canned Eggplant, Kyle, Hostmark, Keith Myers, Hannah, Pixie Art 5, Lil Green, Catherine Taylor, Jason, Arolina, Rajan, Clara, John Robinson, Ethan, Vermont, Noob Slurg, Trenton Golden, Trojan, Yeetmaster, Arjen, Noah, Brody, Muffy Lou Who, Cleric, Sertika, Immortal EXE, and Trey. Thank you so much for your support. It is greatly appreciated. And as always, stay zesty.